For me, the songs all have their own backstory, and when I'm performing them live, I pretty much relive what I was feeling when I wrote them. Um, I don't think too much about, oh, this one, we need more down tempo, we need more up tempo, we need more mid tempo on the record, because to me that seems a little scientific. I just want to make an album that's well rounded emotionally, and whatever that takes, whatever combination that is, determines the overall tone of the album. Is it a sad record? Is it a happy record? Is it a mixture of all emotions? And thankfully, I think that's what this record is. It's a mixture of all the emotions that go along with the ups and downs of a relationship. Some dramatic turn away, but This album was something that I made over the course of 2 years, but at the end of the first year, my label president, who I trust so much with musical decisions, came to me and he said, "You're done. Congratulations, you finished the record." And I just kind of looked at him and said, "I am so flattered, but I don't agree with you. I think I need to go back to the drawing board. I need to think of something different." And that was when I decided, I'm going to call Max Martin, I'm going to call Dan Wilson, I'm going to call Butch Walker, I'm going to call Ed Sheeran, I'm going to call Gary Lightbody from Snow Patrol, and Dan Wilson, and Dan Huff, and see what they can do with my songs. When we're going to countries outside of the US, it's really exciting for me because with this single doing so well over in different countries, it's like this could be the first album that some people hear of me. And that's a really exciting concept for me. I would be really proud to have this be the first thing that people heard from me. And, it's been such a privilege to have things go so well over in the UK and in Europe and Asia and Australia, because I love going there. I love going there to see those fans, and I love the experience of having gone so many places in my life and played music. It's what I always wanted to do. The video for We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together was a concept that I'd never done before, which is one camera, no editing, one take, everybody's scrambling around trying to make everything happen live because the camera's just going around filming what it sees in front of it. So this was a video directed by Declan Whitebloom, who's done 2 videos for me. He's done Mean and Ours. And so this was just a blast. I mean, we did 18 takes of this before we got it right. It's crazy. It was like over and over and over again, and one thing would go wrong, and we had to start the whole thing over again. So we had costumes and extras and background changes and scenery and like costume changes. It was crazy. So much fun, but it was like very hectic. I think for me, different albums represent different chapters of my life. Fearless represents the breakthrough and all the discovery of, wow, there's a big, wide world of music, and I've just been thrown into it, and I'm excited, and I'm scared, and, the first crossover hits that we ever had were on that album, and we had incredible luck at the Grammys with that album. And then I felt like I really had something to prove on Speak Now, because that last album, Fearless, was so big. I wanted to write the record by myself to prove that I could do it, to prove to myself that I could do it. And so it was in my mind, a little bit lyrically dark. And it was something that I'm always going to be really proud of. With Red, I wanted to learn. I wanted to take my comfort zone, which at that point was writing songs alone, and I wanted to throw myself into, a different realm where I was out of my comfort zone. So I called up all these people I'm a fan of, producers, writers, artists, and just said, I want you to be in on making this record with me. I want your influence. So I'd say it was me expanding and learning and taking risks I've never taken before. When you said you I think picking We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together as the first single was something that just kind of jumped out to me when I would play it for my friends and my family and everybody, and they would just come back a few days later singing it, like word for word, the chorus, and they couldn't get it out of their heads. And you know, when I look at this album, it's a really eclectic group of songs, and the fun part about it is that no particular song defines the rest of the album. So I knew that no matter what, we were going to probably pick We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, and kind of make people wonder if that was what the rest of the record sounds like, when the rest of the record sounds a lot different than that song, and it's exciting to kind of keep people on their toes. Writing the lyrics for this album was an amazing experience because each song is so singular in what it talks about. You know, these emotions kind of stand on their own. And for me, yeah, there's a lot of curiosity about like who each song is about, and that's kind of something that I love keeping to myself, like never really revealing who exactly these songs are about, because I like for people to be able to paint their own picture of whether they want to think about their ex-boyfriend or someone they know, or, you know, I don't know, or make up their own mind about like who they think I wrote it about. It's all up to them because I'm never telling. I think for me, Red defined this album because I wrote a song called Red, and it was a song about, you know, kind of correlating the emotions you went through in a breakup to different colors. It talks about blue and dark gray, and then eventually admits that the reason it's impossible to forget someone is if loving them was red, if it was intense, if it was passionate. And that doesn't matter if it's intensely good or intensely bad. It's intensely unforgettable if it was red. I wrote for 2 years, and I wrote until I couldn't write anymore. That was the stopping point for this album. I knew when I couldn't think of one more thing that I needed to write about. Couldn't conjure up one more emotion that hadn't been already conveyed on the album somehow. So when I finally got to a point where I was like, I put the guitar down, we're done. And then I you know, made a phone call to my record label president, and I was like, I think I'm done now. And he's like, I think you were done a year ago. This is exciting. For this album, I really wanted the artwork to be different than anything we'd ever done before. And funny enough, I ended up having one of my friends, who's my age, we hang out together all the time in Nashville. She took pictures at my birthday party, and she gave the disc to me as my birthday present. And when I looked through the pictures, I just thought, you're incredible at taking pictures. You're incredible at photography. And I went to her and said, would you want to shoot my album cover? And she, of course, freaked out and said yes, and we did this shoot out in the middle of nowhere, and she turned in the most amazing photos, the photos that I'm most proud of. You know, it's like the craziest thing that it ended up working. But she's amazing. Her name's Sarah Barlow, and she's just like so naturally talented. It was amazing to be around that.